You're the ringleader this morning.
Good. He's not doing good.
Is it Friday yet?
Should be. You know, it's not gonna be a good day when the first person that gets a hold of you is Rachel.
What is that about?
Ooh. That's why I wake up early before she does in the morning. That way I can talk to somebody else first.
Pam, Amanda, they're picking on me. You have anything to say?
Somebody smart.
Nobody's defending you.
Nothing.
It's teamwork there.
They're probably not by their desk yet because it's not 9:30.
No,
Yeah.
it's not, gotta wait for that.
Maybe that's why they didn't defend me.
This thing that I will watch.
Yeah, that's very nice of them.
You'd say that right now. I'll tell you.
Call meeting order.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First up, the EMS, Eric.
These are things that you need to record, I guess it's from. Amounts. Oh, here's another one. Those are from small claims. And okay.
So this one here is this small claims and this.
Oh, they're all small claims. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
where's it?
No,
Nope.
that, you'll probably get that next week, month.
Okay, so we got three separate ones from small claims. One's in amount of $25. And we have another one in amount of $25. And another one in amount of $325.08.
What are these for, Tom? Did you know who that? Okay, as you can tell on the October month, it's only from the 1st to the 11th, and that's when our new billing took over on the 12th. So that's just why some of the numbers are a little smaller. But Acumet is supposed to be getting with us to show us what kind of reports they're gonna give us. It should be just about any time. They said in the middle of the month. So, and if they don't contact me by Wednesday, I'll be contacting them. Any questions?
So after that, we'll be getting monthly reports from them.
That's my thoughts.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
Good morning, everybody.
Lord.
I have paperwork for everybody. For you, young lady. Maybe for you. You get nothing, sir. You get the wrong one.
If I get nothing.
I
So
get
do you.
nothing. Yeah, yeah. I'm aware of that. So as you know, I took over DMS director officially October 30th at midnight. The week prior, I shadowed Travis 3 days here in the office. Ended up taking off a day that I worked at ambulance to get another 24-hour shift. Personnel staffing is still an issue for us. Currently, as I sit here in front of everybody here, we're short 4 paramedics. One is on deployment with doing the Afghan refugee thing. One passed away unexpectedly last month, and then left us 2 full-timers short on top of that. So to help out when there's an open shift on the weekends or something like that, I have been filling in those shifts. I've averaged around 60 hours each week so far. Training, we held our audit and review here. This month, we're gonna actually have a training with Stryker using the Lucas devices as well as our audit and review again. For safety, we did have one medic file a workman's comp claim with a shoulder injury. She has been cleared to go back to work already. For our vehicles, as you see, 3308, which is the North Justin one, there's no issues. 4230, once again, no issues, which is nice, since those are the two newest ambulances. 514 is actually being switched out this morning. 514 goes in to get an oil change, tires rotated, alignment. In Plymouth with Sherwood, starting Wednesday. 0086 is the second backup, has not been used at all. That gets jump started once, but other than that, no other issues. 85, that actually went in for oil change Friday. Everything else has been good with 85. 84, which is the red truck. It went to Auto Park Chevy in Plymouth. It was there for 6 weeks. After arguing with them about why it's still there and why it took so long, they went there originally for a fluid leak, and they said they fixed it. Great. We went to pick it up and wouldn't start, wouldn't run, nothing. So it took time for us to get back on their schedule because they were rebuilding an engine. And then eventually ended up being an alternator battery got replaced. So that truck is now back up and running again. And we're going to take 514 to Auto Park Chevy because it has a DEF system issue. So that'll go there after Sherwood, whenever they get done with it. 4149 is the chase vehicle, which was Travis's vehicle. Like I said, I received it on 1030. Just some fun things with it. There's a broken driver's seat. It's in a reclined position. It will not sit forward. Also, I was running really rough, so I took it here to Ford where we got our oil change on that truck. And they determined that there was the transmission's going out. They said I had a burning smell to the transmission fluid. I attached a quote to everybody for the transmission replacement of $5,546.75. Just so you know, I have also reached out to Sherwood. They cannot do the transmission replacement. They'll be able to put it in, but they cannot program it. It has to go to a transmission specialist. I've also reached out to Patrick's. Their person has not gotten back to them in 4 days. So I don't have any further on that.
What exactly is wrong with the transmission?
If you are starting at a lower speed, like you're just, it'll chug. I don't know how to, I'm not a mechanic guy,
Did
so
they tell you what was broken in it?
it's the lower gears, because when you get up to speed, it'll stay running consistent. If you, like, I had to go to a couple crashes, and when you get on the gas, get going, that part goes away. So it's mainly the lower gears where you're having the issue, not the higher gears.
But it is shifting.
Yes.
Okay.
Backside of that sheet, base maintenance. On your monthly report, on the backside, there's a base maintenance. No major issues were reported, other than the kitchens have to be replaced, but at all 3 bases, and I'm concerned about that.
Why do they need to be replaced?
Starting at Medic 5, you gotta wash the plate. And then the cabinets and the countertop are sinking.
Okay.
So it looks like same thing at Medic 1. And then Medic 3, everything needs to be replaced. I'd rather have everything the same in every base. That's me. The counter is also starting to deteriorate at Medic 3.
Right.
So I'm just trying to get ahead of that falling apart. And that's it for the monthly report. I don't know what you want me to do with the vehicle. I did throw a quote in there for Lock Monday, because the sheriff's department just purchased 2 hybrid vehicles there from a grant, the Clean Air Grant. That was their price in their vehicle. It's 38,000 for a hybrid, 35 for the gas. But like it says, it's on an 8-month out process just to even get one.
Do you have any grants to go along with this to offset the cost?
Right now, I have not. The Clean Air Grant will come back out in March. That's up to $50,000.
I take it you don't have the 5,500 in your budget for transmission repair?
That is correct.
You gotta check with Anderson Automatic. And out by Bass Lake also for.
Okay.
And that.
Anderson Automatic.
Mhm. If you can't find a number, I can get you the number.
I'll put up the flight for sure. Anderson Automatic. I will have that for you as soon as I get it to me. Thank you for that. What part do you want me to go into next?
Wherever you want to go with it.
Your report.
I wanted to talk, I talked to you briefly, not Monday, last week,
Yeah.
about bases.
Mhm.
Just so you know, I'm starting to look. Obviously, we're not buying anything yet. We're just trying to find property. I like to move the Medic 5 base from 23 and 30, which is in the far northeast side of the county, more towards Hamlet. Reason why I say Hamlet, from center of Hamlet to county line going east is 6 miles, going west is 7 miles. And that's a more central location. Right now, there's one location in Hamlet, catty corner from the church. Haven't reached out to them yet. It's a big vacant lot, and it's just something that we'll have to find out. Here in Knox, if you can picture this, Main Street going out to Veterans Parkway, where it tees, there's a cornfield on the right-hand side. It's 2.07 acres, owned by Christos and Chris Curtis. I did speak to Chris last week. He is the property manager. He's supposed to find out a fair price and then call back, and obviously I'll turn it into you guys. I am not looking at anything North Justin at this time. That's for the bases. The last thing I want to bring up was the sick time and vacation time, and I have paperwork here on that. I do have to apologize now. I forgot the one from LaPorte County, so I can't give you their example. Let me make sure I have all these. Vacation time. When did you do that? Or do I not want to bring that up? I did have these all in order, sorry. Here's one for you. So in front of you, you should have, if I'm correct, you have the county handbook printout, pages 20, 21. 20 starts with the vacations. It's kind of confusing, kind of weird. Try to put it nicely. The county does a percentage of time worked divided by your hours worked. That gives you the amount of hours you're allowed to take. I worked with Rachel, Wendy, and Nancy in the office that Monday when I took over. And they were nice and explained it to me. So right now, as it is, the county says for vacation time, no, let's start with sick time, sorry. Let's start with sick time. That was easier in my head. Sick time, you get 6 days. At 8-hour days, it's 48 hours. And when you work a 7-hour shift, that's basically just short of 7 days off. The EMS employees work 24-hour shifts. So as we work, we're only allowed 2 days off, sick time, versus 6.6 hours and six days and 6 hours. What I brought to you was an example of sick time from Porter County, where they have office employees as well as EMS employees. They get 1 day off for 2 months of work. So, and you're allowed to bank up to 15 sick days. This sheet right here, the one that says sick time on it. First, that was what my proposal was. Sick time would be every 2 months you get a sick day, and that's a full working day, full 24-hour working day, not an 8-hour day. So every year you would get 6 sick days, banking up to 15, not to the current 30.
So what's the motivation behind this proposal?
I don't really consider it a motivate. Everywhere I have worked as a EMS employee, we've always worked 24-hour shifts or 12-hour shifts. And it has always been, if you're a sick day, that's 1 day, not 3 office hour days. So we're always based on a 24-hour shift. We're not based on an 8-hour shift. If that's motivation, then okay, I'll go with that. There's no motivation behind it. It's just to be fair for my employees, it needs to be based on a 24-hour shift.
Right.
Yes, I do know that eventually, if this does pass, you guys, and I have to go to council tonight, and then it's going to affect the budget next year because there'll be more time off for sick time and vacation time. I am aware of that.
I think we need to take this under advisement and compare it to how we have other departments that have odd hours, odd shifts like this,
Yeah, big difference.
and
Good idea.
evaluate it again early in next year.
Okay. That was sick time, vacation time. It's the same motivation. Using accounting policy, it's gonna, you take your hours worked times a percentage divided by your hours, your working hours in a day. It tells you how many days you get off. Once again, that's based on an 8-hour. I also attached that. You should have a copy of that. I gave you an example of Porter County's right here. This is their vacation time schedule. And I gave you an example of the vacation sheet as well. If not, let me know, I'll get it to you for sure. You got it?
And Porter County works 24-hour shifts.
That sheet is from South Haven Fire Department in Porter County. The office people work 8-hour days, and on Friday they work 8 to 12:30. EMS people, we work 24-hour shifts, 24/48.
It's according to our, I mean, they're earning like any other county employee.
Mhm.
They get 8 hours of overtime every week, and you do not earn vacation or sick time on overtime because you're being paid overtime. So I mean, maybe this is something they need to change their shifts, 12-hour shifts like the sheriff's department does it. So you're not paying 16 hours of overtime every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But like you said,
Yeah,
Look into it.
this needs a lot of thought.
Yeah.
And a lot of comparison. It's gonna take us a little time to work.
Yeah, absolutely. But if I didn't bring it forward, then
Right.
I'll never change. So,
Okay. Thanks.
all right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dan.
Well, I think I have more good news than bad news today.
You have more good news than you do bad news?
Yes, so
Okay.
that's a plus.
Cool.
So if we start off this morning, personnel, we still have 3 open positions for CDL drivers. We ran an ad last month with no response for CDL drivers. We did have 2 non-CDL applications. And at this time, we haven't done anything with them. We have had 2 employees out now, and they've both been out almost 20 days now. They tested and got retested, so we've been a little shorthanded last week. Good news for the grant status, we did receive community cross money for the hot asphalt project, which is 5.5 miles. That's going to go from State Road 8 to 625 East. Bridge 13 was turned down. We are working on the Pacer ratings right now. I've been out grading roads the last 2 weeks. We have that portion of it completed. Now we just have to get it turned into LTAP. And we're going to start working on next year's community cross projects. That's going to open up on January 3rd. As far as equipment, the new distributor truck came in last week. Truck 61 received a used motor in it. It hasn't been running for like a year and a half, so we got that back on the road, ready to go into service. We're going to start working this week on getting equipment moved into the glove factory. That's all the summer equipment that just needs to be stored. So as far as bridges, due to the heavy rains we had a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we had to remove debris from under 3 bridges. So we called in a contractor that handles that on the Yellow River. Bridge number 7, we have got good news on that. We moved the letting date into 2023. It was supposed to be in 22, but the environmental study is not going to be done in time. So we should make everything for the 23 letting date. And bridge 59, when we first submitted the bridge, somehow it got overlooked and we did not have enough funding for it. So the state's going to let us resubmit it for more funding. That's only going to push the project back like 2 months. So that's good news as well. As far as hot asphalt and chip seal, there's nothing new to report there as we're done for the year. As far as cleaning up around the shop, we've installed 3 new security lights and we fixed a broken light. We hope to install 2 more lights. I currently have REMC looking into improving the shop lights, making them brighter and more efficient. I think currently there's like 72 fluorescent bulbs, or not bulbs, but the outfits up there. So the lighting's not the best in the shop. As far as the roadsides, as long as weather holds up, we're going to keep running the cab mower tractors. The brush tractor is currently down. We broke a hydraulic cylinder on it, but they've been working quite a bit around South Bass Lake where the solar project's going in. We've been busy mowing the brushes back there. And we're gonna, since the weather's gotten a little cooler, We're gonna use the hot box that we have to help patch the roads with. And then training, Etmeyer will be here next week. Or they'll be here this week, Wednesday, to go over the new distributor truck with us. And last week, RMC came by and did a high voltage line training that was very useful and informative. And then Thursday, the solar project. They were in town and I met with them shortly. I supplied everybody a map. So you can see the lines in green are, they're gonna be their roads that they're gonna use. The red dots indicate where they're gonna go into the fields at. They were asking about our road usage agreement. I just, I talked to Pulaski County Superintendent. And he feels like we should have the same road usage agreement that we should all have the same, since they're building the solar park as well in Pulaski County.
That it's beneficial that for the, you know, for the contractor as well, so they can have consistent. You know, there's really, and we're engaging the the same firm that produced that road use agreement. That's still underway. We had, you know, Charlie and I met with him.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
So,
about that.
you know,
Have you-
and what we
what's
got,
going
we're
on?
told was that
Anything so far?
when we asked him to have something ready for today, and he said he wouldn't be able to, but this week this week, so.
Now, I did talk to White County's superintendent, and he informed me that next year, they're gonna go over $50 million income between the landfill, wind farms and solar farm. That their county's gonna go over the 50 million mark income from there. So,
Good for them.
so this is this is a great opportunity, I think, for Stark County. So, I just bought a GoPro over the weekend camera to mount to the truck. My intention is to go out and drive the roads. I was gonna have LTAP come up and help from Purdue,
Okay.
but they haven't been able to come up, so I'm gonna try to get the roads videotaped yet this week. It's supposed to be nice weather Thursday and Friday. So,
Rachel, you were a big part of watching things when NIPSCO was doing its thing. I hope you're giving him good pointers on how to keep track of road conditions.
I would absolutely do that.
Okay.
yeah, one of the roads I thought was gravel is actually a dirt road. So, according to what I heard Thursday, they're not gonna start bringing semi loads in till like August is when they're really gonna ramp up, and we're gonna see a lot of semi trucks coming in. He was thinking August, September. So that'll give us a little bit of time in the summer to do prep work on some roads.
Okay.
So after we get them videotaped, we'll make a list of what we need, what we feel we need to work on, and submit a bill to them and say, this is what we're thinking. So,
All right.
May I make a comment?
Sure.
Dan, I know you touched upon this earlier, but I just really wanted to commend Amanda Fentress for doing all the work for the CCMG grant that you talked about that we received. She worked very hard on that. That's not something normally that the office manager does, so she had to learn the entire process, and we got it.
and she needs to be commended on the bridges too. She's done a lot of work with the bridges as well.
So, yeah, that's actually probably a good question. In addition, I know you're having a hard time finding drivers, but are you also looking for an asset manager to replace the one that was lost before we hired you?
We haven't advertised for that, but we need to probably work on a job description of
Okay.
what we want to.
I have one. I mean, that position was created already. It's already a position, so you can review Amanda can give you the current job position on that, and if you don't like what's in there, then they could revisit it.
Because it sounds like, yeah, especially with the next call for projects coming up in January, you might be a good idea just to have enough people to handle all the workload. I know, yeah, Amanda's doing great, but
Yeah, she's,
eventually that workload is going to be, I mean, it was at once enough to justify that asset manager position. It probably is going to, if not already is, to that point.
okay.
I agree.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Assessor Michelle,
She's here.
there she is.
And I'm just here for the opening of the bids for reassessment.
So we have one packet here. Is that all we received?
Yes.
Okay, and this packet is from Accurate Assessments, Inc. of 3524 Stellarn Road, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46815, who I believe is our current vendor.
Yes, it is.
Well, while he's opening that, I noticed that in your budget for 2022, you upped it, went up by $25,000. Is that gonna be the trending that we're gonna have to?
I'm not sure. I know last reassessment, the bid was down considerably from the previous 4 years. And I'm thinking it just was like, with inflation, it just kind of caught up with it and it maybe shouldn't have gone down. It should have probably stayed about the same last
Okay.
time. And so this time, and I don't know what that bid is, obviously. And I do want to say I did advertise for bids. I did send out specs to 2 other companies besides this one. So I'm not sure, but we only got apparently one, so.
Michelle, could you supplement the record with your, like a copy of the email to the other vendors, since we only got one?
Sure, I can send those to
You can't
Rachel.
make people bid, of course, but
No.
it's good to document that you
That
did
we did reach
request them
out,
from
yes.
qualified
Yes,
contractors.
it was Tyler and Lexus, I believe, is who I emailed. Both had at conferences or whatever approached and said with some interest for getting the specs, and so I did send to both of them.
So this is for the cyclical reassessment, annual trending, and annual new construction assessments for Stark County for the years 2023, 24, 25, and 26. And Accurate Assessments quotes a fee of $164,100 per year each year. It doesn't show any increase through the year. So each year, $164,100, and that's for 23 through 26.
Typically, nothing gets approved when they're opened. Usually,
You want
I
to
compare them
review
to
these,
the
right?
specs and
Right.
everything to make sure they're bidding for everything that we want and need, which since they've been our vendor before, they probably are, but.
And they've performed well. It's,
Yes,
there's not
yeah,
really
we're
been-
very happy with them.
Yeah.
Typically, they go above and beyond. They do things for us that aren't even contracted, so.
As the attorney for the Peterborough, I can say that I think they do an impressive job of creating analysis of the local real estate market that is very defensible when people have questions, which they often do, since, fortunately, our values are increasing.
Right,
People aren't always happy when they see the assessment, but
right.
overall, it's good that people's property values are increasing.
Is that pretty much in line with what it used to be, or is this a little bit higher? Or?
I'm sure it's higher, which is why I put in for more in the budget, because I wanted to be sure that we could, meet it. I can't remember what exactly I put in for. I don't know if Rachel has it or not.
You put in for $175,000,
So I was extra cautious then, but yeah, so.
So if the state comes back and we have to cut your budget, we know where we can cut now.
So, yeah, there you go. But I will look at this and make sure that everything's, and then probably maybe the next meeting.
December 6th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bernadette, where's she? You're up.
Was she ever really here to begin with?
Yeah, I think she's hiding back there.
Mr. Lucas sent you guys the ordinance last week. Did you guys read over it?
Yes.
Okay, have any questions about it?
No.
Comments?
Well, it's just, you know, just checking to see if you had any questions. It really is boils down to this.
Yeah.
No changes were required to comply with the statute from the current configuration. But the statute does require that you make an ordinance saying that, and that's what this says. This is an unusual ordinance in the sense that it says we're not doing anything different today.
So I'll make a
But
motion.
Tom, you did submit into the record, you know,
My worksheet, I gave them my worksheet
Right.
and the maps.
I want to make sure that the supporting information, so if somebody wants to review this, they can, you know, including the public, if they want to see what data you're relying on, they should be able to see that along with the ordinance, okay?
Okay, and then I'll make the motion to approve the ordinance adopting the recommendations of the election board and recertifying all precincts and voting districts.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Easy enough. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Okay. Our new extension.
A copy of the annual contractual services agreement we have with the University of the County and the memorandum of understanding. The amount that's listed on the MOU is the amount that was approved in our budget by the county council. This form we have completed each year. Had you looked over it? Okay, so,
And there's no, I didn't notice any changes. Was there any changes that you wanted to bring to?
no,
the
there weren't
attention?
any
Just the
changes.
same thing.
It's the same thing as last year's, just the amount that's listed. Every year we have commissioners sign it. The director of extension has already signed it and the person from our business office.
Motion to approve, accept it.
So moved.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
I'll second. Yeah, it's pretty much an annual deal in it for us. Have you sign this?
Yeah, just one, I think. Third page, I believe.
No, there's on the second and third page.
Oh. It's a good thing she was here. I'll scan in a copy and send it to you. Is that okay?
So I can send it back to the university.
15th.
And your secretary knows.
Is there anything else I can change?
Yeah.
Oh, was there? I didn't see it.
On the bottom, second page. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. You're up, Leslie.
Morning.
Morning.
Before you is the job description for the investigator position that we previously approved. The council, I think in October, stated they would not approve the funding request through the grant through HealthLink without some additional language in the job description. And so I worked with Mr. Lucas to add that. It basically waives a provision in IC code 3539.
It's cited in there.
Yes, it is cited in there, but they the council before they would, they approved the funding contingent that be added to the job description. And so I would just ask that the commissioners approve the updated job description with that additional language in there. That's wrong.
And what it says in essence is that everybody, including the person that would be hired, that everybody understands that the position is contingent upon funding currently from the federal grant or from some other non-county source. If that should fail, then they could get the money from a state grant if they wanted to, and that would still comply. But the point being that there's a statute that says if once this position is created, the council can't cancel it. And what this says is that wouldn't be a cancellation by an action of the council. Because it's my thinking that the reason they have that rule is that there probably was some incident where a council was being investigated in a legitimate investigation and figured they would cancel the funding for the person doing the investigation. And so obviously if the funding fails through no action of the council, then it's reasonable to not have that statute apply in that situation. If you follow all that. We work together to get that out, and I appreciate your work with me on that, because that's sort of a tricky thing to get to.
Okay. Yeah, sounds like we just cleaned it up to make other people happy, so I'll make a motion to approve the revised job description.
And the other position that I wanted to create was subject to the grant funding through HealthLink, but in conversations with HealthLink, they cannot approve additional funding for that position. So I'm still working with HealthLink to figure out how we can utilize the rest of the funding that they've made available to me. So I would table that position for the time being, and just to allow me some more time to work with HealthLink to see.
That's
if
for
we can-
paralegal.
Correct.
Okay.
You can still, if you want, so you have technically 2 clerks right now.
Correct.
If you want to name one of those from clerk to paralegal, you can still do that today.
Oh, okay. That's
It's not gonna, its salary has nothing to do with
okay.
the title of the position. If
Okay.
that's really what they're doing right now, then you can still change it to paralegal from clerk.
So it would be what, clerk 2 or clerk 1?
It'd be clerk 1.
Okay, so clerk 1 has always, is in terms of, since I've been in this position, been more of a paralegal, doing more preparation of legal documents. It's kind of outlined in the job description. And so part of what the function was in terms of the funding for it to increase the salary was going to be through HealthLink, through the grant that I just kind of talked about. But I would like to change clerk 1 into a paralegal position, because that is more in line with what the position actually is for.
Okay, well, let's, since you don't have the funding in place, I think we'll just sit on this until you do. Unless you wanna, I mean, it's just a name change at this point.
Yeah.
Right,
So
it's a
it
name
doesn't really
change.
matter.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Well, vendor claims, $447,448.49.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Right.
Okay, payroll claims an amount of $251,876.10.
Motion to approve.
Second. We got minutes from Monday, November 1st, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Dave on?
He is not, but Joseph is here. So you did read Dave's email and he sent Joseph's,
And you kind of having a recommendation.
yeah, recommendation. So he's here if you want to talk to him.
Wind up. What?
Bam, put you on the spot, just like that.
Read that this morning? I read it.
I didn't read it this morning. No.
And
When
Dave-
when did it get sent out?
It must have been late because I just said this morning. So they did recommend this gentleman.
Joseph Williams, right?
And, they,
I'll read it now.
okay.
4:18 a.m. No wonder I didn't see it. So. Okay. So far. Yeah, it looks like it's the recommendation of the advisory council to hire Joe.
Yes. For Joseph.
Which do you prefer?
If I'm in trouble, Joseph. If I'm not, Joe.
Okay, Joseph. Make motion, we appoint Joseph Williams as our new EMA director.
I'll second that.
When do you want him to start?
Was there any discuss, they didn't
When
even
could you
mention the
start?
discussion of that?
What did you discuss with Dave on that?
Dave said he preferred, I guess on the 22nd, there's something going on. I don't know if it's a tabletop exercise or
Can you start tomorrow?
start tomorrow.
Let's have him start as of 10:15 or 10:20 Monday morning. Yeah. You start tomorrow.
And you're gonna be tomorrow or at the meeting today, meeting with Dan. He's the highway superintendent.
Okay.
He's gonna talk to you about ADA stuff.
Okay.
So if you have time today, stick around and introduce yourself to him and kind of talk about the ADA stuff, please do.
Will do.
And go ahead and report to my office at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
I will. Yes. See how little that looks.
Okay,
Sure.
Pam's on there for this liability insurance for the jail.
Technically, I'm on there for the liability insurance for the jail, but Pam is on there if you do have any questions or her opinion about the matter.
Was
Because,
it this one that we talked about where
Yes.
we've never used it
yes,
and we're paying how much money on it? Was it?
well, it's $36,000 to renew.
But we've never
Never used it.
used it.
Pam, do you have any comments, questions, or anything?
I did send the insurance over to Laura. She's the director of medical accounts that we're contracted with through QCC. She said that she's had a lot of counties contact her for this over the several years. She said with the new state regulations, she said the state is going to pay for inpatient stays and outpatient bills are not that expensive. I mean, we haven't used it in over 7 years. I don't feel like we're going to start now. Especially for them to raise the premium $12,000.
Okay. Yeah. If we haven't used it, why are we, yeah, we don't need it.
Yeah, that's $36,000.
That's over that period of time, if something was going to happen, it would have happened. And Murphy's Law, I say that and we're gonna.
I think there should be. But anyway, it's intentionally canceled, but it doesn't appear that it was merely forgotten. You know what I'm saying? Just the easy CRP.
Right.
We want to make sure it's intentional.
And I believe it has a $10,000 deductible, right, Rachel?
Yes, it does. It has a $10,000 deductible and they only pay up to $240,000 after that deductible.
What motion would you like to see me make?
How should they state it?
You determined to cancel that coverage. The reason I'm saying that is you want to make sure it's clear that you did it on purpose and that it wasn't, merely forgotten, right? That make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Make a motion to cancel the insurance policy we haven't used in years.
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pam.
Okay. You got anything?
No.
Anybody in the audience have anything to want to speak about or?
Just one thing, Rich Lucas, your highway department commissioner came through with an idea of how the traffic will go for the solar farm. And my main concern would be, I guess, in August, they're gonna start rolling, probably before that even. I mean, that's high summer around Bass Lake. And I was just wondering if Route 10 around Bass Lake or 210 is part of that highway traffic.
Does not appear so.
Okay, that's why I'm asking,
Yeah, it's.
I mean, there are people that bike there are people. that-
All the green lines on this map that I'm looking at are on the other side of 10 and 35 from the lake.
If you look at 650 south,
Yeah,
I believe it's coming off at 210.
but it doesn't, I mean, it's still
They didn't
east of
highlight,
10.
they didn't highlight any of the highways. They just highlighted county
Well,
road.
Well,
Just
yeah,
to be clear, we don't
That around the lake would be a.
have jurisdiction over the
State
highway, so they wouldn't be, these are for the purpose of the county road use agreement.
Yes.
So that would be, probably, you might want to direct the question also to the state highway department, if you see what
Well,
I'm
yeah, I
saying.
understand it, and I totally
Yeah.
agree with you, but I mean, I would hope you'd have a little sway over it since it's in the county.
I honestly don't think there is much. I mean, I think the state highway
State highways,
regulates.
state highways. We're not the state.
That's kind of how that works. They have very little,
I understand,
yeah.
but you understand my concern.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And if you want to take that, if you don't mind, I'd like to take a look at that.
come on up and have a look.
Appreciate that.
Rich, I can make a copy for you afterwards.
My question is the semis can make the turn-ons. I don't think so either. That's why.
See, we already have semi-traffic on
Okay.
Route 10. Right by the lake, they come through there, and sometimes they go 60, 70 miles an
That's,
hour.
Yeah, it's been discussed, a long-term goal, of getting that away from there, but
I know how
unfortunately,
you
it's a
do it.
very expensive proposition.
I
Yeah,
agree.
the problem is a recognized one from the state, is really a state
But
issue.
you see my concern about.
Yeah, no, it's been understood. And previously.
Because I'm right on that road. I'm in the southeast corner. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I don't know.
Yeah, my copy. I'll get one later.
Right.
I'll make the motion to approve. The motion to adjourn. Motion to approve the adjournment.
Approve my purchase of the
You have
fog
a day
machine.
like this.
That's what you said, right?
Nice to get that, nice to finagle that in on somehow, didn't you?
We'll delete the break room and turn it in.